y'all? It's your boy JKG Brandon. We are back playing raid, y'all. Here you can see behind me the piece de resistance. You know, the Tomb Daddy himself, Tomblord. I'm not gonna make you watch this entire run. You can kind of see it up there. It's almost 7 minutes long. However, I wanted to leave this screen up there just so you did see it. This is Fire Knight stage 20, not 24, not 25, but 20. My Tomblord can duo it with Lysandra. So this is credit to, I believe it's Scratch that put this out way back in the day, just after Tomblord got his big buff and became one of the most godly champions in the game. Scratch put out a video showing that you could solo with Tomblord and Lysandra. Or I'm sorry, duo with Tomblord and Lysandra, and you know that's kind of where we're at there. So just to kind of give you a heads up, you can do this, especially for something like CVC or any kind of like a crazy tournament or something like that. When you've got Fire Knight, you can still do really good in tournament points and stuff like that by doing stage 20. I know it's not the most optimal route to go, but it is something you can do. And if you're struggling to do, stage 24, 25 and all that kind of stuff, and you have a Tomblord and a Lysandra, it's something you can do to kind of do that. We'll get into the stats on the Tomblord. Not really worried about Lysandra, but we'll take a look at Tomblord real quick here. Now, the biggest thing with this build is it has to be regeneration gear, right? So it can work kind of like with the Tyrant build that I showed off, a little while back. When you're running these solos and stuff like that, you're not going for speed. It's just, if you can do it fast, that's great. But these type of runs are, they're marathons, right? So you want to heal up, you want to stay healed up for those. Regeneration gear is the best for solo runs, because it does not require you to do any damage. We're going to be building very tanky and pretty quick, so it doesn't really leave a whole lot for damage to get added into those. So any way we can heal up without having to do damage is going to be better. My Tyrant in lifesteal gear works. It's not ideal, but it works. But this is a much better build. And I will also say my Tomblord is probably on the lower end of the scale as far as the requirements to actually make this happen. So we'll kind of hop in here and we'll take a look. He has really good base speed at 99. I mean, it's not 100, but for a champion that's not like a turn meter speed demon type of a champion, a 99 base speed is not bad at all. Decent base stats. I like the fact that he has some resistance and some accuracy built in right away, because that makes building for a solo a little bit easier. So you can kind of see, we'll just call it 40. Well, I'm going to round all these numbers off, right? So we're going to just call it 40k HP. If I was going to optimize his build for this, for soloing, I would want to get his HP around 45 to 50. He is at, we'll call it, 46 or 46. We'll call it 3,600 on attack. He's one shy, so not bad attack. That means he's gonna hit consistent. 2,200 on defense. I would like that to be around 3k defense, to be completely honest, if I was being the most optimal with this build. 210 speed. I would prefer this a bit faster. It'll just make the runs go a little bit quicker if that was what he was built for. 100% crit rate is always going to be nice, because that paired with your attack means you're going to be consistently doing damage. Any crit damage you can get is just a bonus. Resistance, mine is at 240. I would prefer that for a solo build. I would love to see that, 250 to 300. Would be kind of the range that I'm looking at. And then accuracy, he has 320 accuracy because he's built for other things. Anywhere around 300 accuracy, I would say is probably going to work. Mine is actually built for a Fire Knight 25 speed team. So he's completely not built straight up for soloing, but he does do a pretty decent job. So just kind of a heads up there. He is fully booked, no blessings on him, so you don't have to worry about having a blessing be a requirement of everything. And then I do have him in War Master. life drinker so we can actually heal up a little bit from some of the damage that he does. And then we're looking at, you know, everything that's going to give us accuracy, everything that's going to give us the options to have a little bit more speed whenever our teammates die. That's basically what we're looking for. So he can do the Fire Knight Duo 20 with Lysandra. He can do I'll just show you my Fire Knight team for Fire Knight 25. I'll come in here to the setup and we'll kind of show you that team. It is this one right here. So Tomblord, Elenerl, Allure, Dark Kale, and Prince Kymar. And I did do a video on that, so if you want to see that, I will try to remember to put a card up above to kind of link that to that as well, because that is a really cool team, especially when you've got a Fire Knight tournament going on. But the reasoning why I'm doing a Tomblord video right now is for Dragon. We have a current Dragon tournament that's going on. Normally I don't do these, but this one kind of coincided with wanting to do some work here. So you can kind of see using only champions from the faction of Knight Revenants. So let's just kind of come in here. One cool thing is basically you can just put him in here with any 4 Knight Revenant champions, and he's going to solo Dragon 25. Partly because he is good affinity. He's a strong affinity because Dragon 25 is going to be force affinity, but you can put him in here with any Knight Revenant champions, and you're going to be able to kind of double dip. You'll be able to get some champ training points because your food champions are going to be getting their XP as you go. It's not going to be a ton, but it is going to be something. And then you're also going to get those tournament points for the Knight Revs tournament. This particular setup, because none of these other champions are Knight Revenants, it's not going to give us the Knight Rev points, but I want to show this with him soloing as much as he can. So my Knight Revs team is basically just, you know, it basically works out to being a Tomblord Soulless duo, because Soulless just kind of takes care of the waves really well, and Tomblord is going to do Tomblord things. But you can see, you know, mine not being built specifically for a solo, it does get a little bit sketchy. And get a little bit low on HP a couple times, which is is a little bit nerve-wracking. This is definitely not 100%. Like I said, this is on the very low spectrum of what I would believe a consistent Tomblord Dragon 25 solo would be. However, like I said, mine is built for something else, and with this tournament coming up, we had some comments asking to see Tomblord in some solos, and I did some testing real quick a few days ago when I got that comment, and you know, he did it with the build that I had him in, so we're showing him off in the build that I had him in. You can see right there, very sketchy. We might actually fail this unless we get some good RNG and some turn meter. You can see he heals up really fast with that regeneration gear. You can really see how clutch that regeneration gear can be without having to put actual damage in to heal back up. He healed from literally almost 0 to a full bar of health in like no time. So definitely sketchy, but definitely doable. So you can kind of see it here, and again, like I said with the Tyrant video, and I said it before, anytime we're doing a solo or a duo build, we're not really looking for speed. We're just looking for how many things can we do at the same time. It's kind of Swiss Army knife tactics, right? Where we're trying to double dip or triple dip depending on what time of the game it is. If we have a Knight Revs Dragon tournament along with the Champ Training tournament, and let's just say CVC was active right now, we would have 3 things that we could be getting points for really quickly. You can kind of see with this tactic also, the Dragon is cake. Once we get to the Dragon, it's game over. But the waves are if you're going to fail on this tactic, it is going to be the waves 100%. He's just too easy. at the dragon is just too easy with how many poisons and the attack down and the defense down that he puts up. It's just super clutch, and you can kind of see right there 251. It ranges from about 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes when we get this solo here for him. So here we are in Ice Golem stage 20. He can't solo this. He can. Actually, I've never actually tried to solo. You know what? Let's go ahead and give it a go. Let's give it a go. I'm curious at this point. Let's see if he can solo this. Stage 20 on Ice Golem. I'm not confident that he can, but we'll take a look. I know for a fact he can duo it with Tyrant Ixlamore, similar to how Tyrant can duo stage 25 with Bad Alcazar, because they complement each other really well, and you know, Bad Alcazar is good affinity against the boss, and Tyrant is just kind of, you know, the even affinity. Tomblord being the even affinity here, he may take too much damage in this setup. So it's gonna be a learning experience for me. This is live. Haven't tested this specifically out. I know he can duo it with Tyrant because Tyrant's gonna do enough damage, and they're gonna help each other get through this. So again, you know, Tomblord takes a lot of damage in these waves because he's even affinity. He's not getting any kind of damage reduction based on being that. So definitely, I think if I had a more optimal build, he could do it solo. But I was curious to see if he would be able to do that. So I have seen him do this. I don't know if it's 100%, but I have seen him do this on Ice Golem 20. I know Tyrant Ixlamore can solo Ice Golem 20 by himself, so this should not fail. But I think Tomblord being part of this will just make it go a little bit faster is all. But you can kind of see there's a theme, right? You have 3 champions, especially Tomblord, Tyrant Ixlamore, and Bad Alcazar, who are just 3 incredible champions that have really good kits that lend you to be able to solo or duo quite a lot of different, you know, dungeons, which allows you to kind of double dip on tournaments. I think duo is probably the maximum that I would really go with. If a specific build or tournament or dungeon requires more than 2 champions, I think at that point you're gonna want to optimize and try to go for a speed team if you can. If it's, you know, because you're gonna want to keep at least that three set of champion food champs to be able to kind of level up and kind of make it worth it. I don't think it's worth it to run 3 champions and 2 food champions in a dungeon. At that point, I think you're just better off using your energy to try to, you know, make a speed team and just cruise through and try to get as many points as you can, get your top rewards, get out, and then move on to the other one. But in a situation like we have right now, for the Dragon tournament where it's night revs, I think Tomblord is probably the most optimal thing, just to have a Tomblord ready to go if you have them. Obviously, if you don't have Tomblord, then why are you watching this video? Unless you just want to see me yapping at the camera, and then, you know, hey, thanks. Like and subscribe if that's the case. But yeah, Tomblord is a really versatile champion because he's really good here in these dungeons. He's not going to be super epic in, say, the Spider's Den, just because poisons don't really have the biggest effect in the Spider's Den. If you are using them just for like a speed down or attack down debuff, you know, he can kind of fill that role if that's what you need. But I think there's much better champions suited for the Spider's Den specifically than Tomblord. And you can really do a whole lot of things with, you know, uncommons and in Armiger. Paragon can be used in Spider's Den. You have Cold Heart, which is pretty meta. You have Royal Guard. There's so many different options for Spider's Den to do legitimate speed teams that running a Tomblord in there is just not going to be viable, in my opinion. If you are able to do it let me know in the comments below. But you can see here, Ice Golem 20 it's not the most optimal build. Again, you know, he's not specifically built for soloing content. On you know, mine is not specifically built for soloing content. However, he can still, you know, solo Dragon 25, as we saw. He can run the duo with Lysandra in Fire Knight 20. He can duo with Tyrant Ixlamore here on Ice Golem 20. He is great in Hydra. He's really good in Hydra. I'm not going to show him off in Hydra. I hate Hydra. He's actually really good in Iron Twins Fortress as well. We can kind of see, I do change out, this is my team right here, for the Iron Twins. Now, I'm not gonna do the run here live, but depending on affinity, I do kind of rotate in another champion. And Tomblord, when we have Force Affinity Iron Twins, I like to bring him in for the attack down because he's good affinity, get some poisons up, you know, and try to just kind of make the run a little bit quicker, because those runs do take quite a while. And I do actually like to run Iron Twins every day, just because I'm playing catch up on my blessings and stuff like that. But he does come in really nice with a good kit here in Iron Twins, especially when he's good affinity. When that boss does go there, and when it's Void Affinity, I like him in there in Void Affinity just because it's a little bit more consistent with that attack down, so we can kind of get that going. Outside of that, I don't think there's anywhere else. I don't really farm Sand Devils Necropolis yet. The team that I do run, I do run only on stage 7, and you can see that's the team there. He doesn't really factor into that style of a team. Maybe as I get, you know, further down the line and stuff, maybe that, you know, decreased speed is going to come into play there. I don't know. I will be 100% honest about that. I'm not a Sand Devils Necropolis player yet, so we'll kind of see that bridge when we get to it. But I hope you guys like this video. You know, a lot of different ways to use Tomblord in either soloing Dragon, duoing Fire Knight, duoing Ice Golem, you know, so you can kind of double dip on those tournaments when CVC comes around and stuff like that. So definitely let me know if you want to see anything else like this. I hope you guys did like this video. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button so you know when I do upload my next video, and I will see you in that next video. Peace.